So let's talk about Peter Fonda and all, oh my goodness, all the things that are being said about Mr. Trump's immigration policy. Joining me today, John Phillips, talk radio host. And he's a conservative commentator as well. John Murray also joins me, pop culture expert and television journalist. Nomi Konst is a political activist and former Bernie Sanders surrogate. She also joins me. Nomi, I'm going to start with you. First of all, Melania Trump in Texas. Like, Peter Fonda looks even worse.
Yeah, can you believe it? Maybe she's there because Peter Fonda called attention to this. Maybe that's it. I mean, listen, this isn't necessarily a Hollywood issue. Everybody's saying these things. It's just they have a platform, just as Donald Trump had a platform before he was president, which basically, in my opinion, paved the way to his presidency. I think it's good that Melania Trump is there. I think, you know, I wonder what sort of autonomy she has being down there and if she's actually going to meet with the people who have been detained and separated from their families. And if she has any sort of say over her husband is another big, giant question. But in terms of Hollywood, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Hollywood, they're people too. They have the right to free speech. It can be bad, like Charlton Heston. You know, it's ironic that the NRA is calling this out when Charlton Heston was their spokesperson. And it can be good when you have great advocates like Cynthia Nixon, who's running for governor of New York and calling for economic justice. They're people. They have different opinions. They have the right to free speech. They just have a larger platform. Yeah, and I would just say be responsible.
So, John, I'm going to go back to Nomi's initial point that maybe the vitriol that you're hearing in the country, including from Hollywood stars, maybe that prompted Melania Trump to go to McAllen, Texas.
I don't think she's reading Peter Fonda's Twitter feed. And I guess it could be worse than...
She turned him over to the Secret Service.
It could be worse than some angry tweets. After all, John Wilkes Booth was an actor. These guys can these guys can say whatever they want. It's just, if you don't like it, ignore it. Words don't bother me. What he said was in poor taste, and he's apologized since tweeting it. The larger problem for them, I believe, is that people look at Hollywood for escapism. You want to go to the movies because you've been inundated with the news all day long, and you want to just kind of drop it for a couple of hours. When they lose that escapist aspect, people just opt out. And the Hollywood box office numbers have dropped this year. They were down last year. Television ratings are down. So I think they're hurting themselves when they do stuff like this.
Are they, John? Are they, John, or are they causing...
Well, the box office is down and TV ratings are down not because of politics. It's because of devices, iPads, streaming services, and all these other technology advances. So that's factually inaccurate. But here's the thing. Yes, what Peter Fonda said was inappropriate and he's apologized, but it's all the height of hypocrisy to me. The man that occupies the White House has said some of the most outrageous and egregious and racially insensitive things that any of us have ever heard. And so the fact that he's in the White House and he's been able to do that and he's been rewarded for it, everything else that anybody else has said, they sound like Sunday school teachers to me. Because the fact remains this. Donald Trump was once considered a part of the Hollywood elite. He was on the liberal left up until the fact that America elected a black man president of the United States. And his racism made him so outraged that he decided to join the Republican Party in an effort to perpetuate his racism with the whole birther movement. So let's keep everything in context.
See,
here.
I wish
He's
I could
been
see
the most
John's
egregious
face
of them all.
Right. She's listening to
exactly
John. But no, I want to go back to that. Okay. But Peter Fonda wasn't maligning President Trump. He was maligning the First Lady. Melania Trump has spoken out against some of her husband's policies. In particular, this immigration policy had of zero tolerance. And there she is in McAllen, Texas. So when you're maligning someone who's maybe actually trying to push back, actually trying to do the very thing that he's complaining about, it's kind of dumb.
Well, if you think about it from the perspective of how you actually influence this presidency, Donald Trump doesn't seem to be anyone that is influenced by public pressure. I mean, you had the largest protest in modern history on inauguration weekend.
Order because of Melania.
Well, but that's Melania. So, you know, if you're targeting people around the president, whether it's Betsy DeVos or the Homeland Security Secretary or Melania Trump, it's a way to call attention, whether it was strategically done so or not. It is a way to call out tout the presidency without and have a reaction, because Donald Trump doesn't do it unless, you know, he gets in a Twitter fight with somebody. But furthermore, I want to make this very clear. There's a long history of Republican double standards on this. You know, they use the Hollywood distraction as a distraction by saying that the liberals are with the Hollywood elite. It's basically to pull all attention away from what they're doing. You know, the fact that some members of the entertainment industry give money to the Democrats and some give it to Republicans, but the Democrats are the ones who get the attention for it. That's just by design. Republicans do it too. They're the Wall Street, you know, party. Let's not forget that. They're the ones who are doing quid pro quo with the president right now and making money off of
I feel that John Phillips has to interject because I can see steam coming out of his ears.
I think we've kind of missed the point here. The one that got slurred in this tweet was Barron Trump. He was the one that Fonda said should be locked in a cage with child molesters, for God's sake.
That's true. That's so true.
We should not be
calling for the raping of the children of your opponents.
But as far as
to be raped, but the thing is that there's questions about the backgrounds of some of the people who are down at the border managing these kids who have been ripped from their parents at the border. So, and I believe, you know, Melania Trump is probably a great person. If she wasn't married to Donald Trump, she herself could probably be in the predicament that we're having at the border. But I believe that she's probably down there because anytime she can get a chance to be away from her husband, because there's questions if she actually lives in our White House, I think she's down there because it's escapism for her.
Okay, so I truly do think that Melania is down there because she cares about these children. I do. Am I crazy,
do too.
John?
I think so.
Can we all agree on that she cares and that's why she's down there?
I would like to hope that she cares,
John.
and I would have liked for her to have gone to the border before the executive order and before all the outrage. Why does it always take all this outrage? And this is one of the few things that the left and the right actually came together on here recently. Why did it take all of that before your surprise visit to the border? I want to see proactive action and this administration stop being so reactive to things.
John,
she was tweeting about it.
Let John Phillips get in here.
She went down there. She's an immigrant herself. This is a subject she's
as we all
spoken about. Well, I'm not an immigrant.
Your ancestors were definitely immigrants. Christopher Columbus is the greatest immigrant of a robber and a stealer of them all. He came and stole this country from the Native Americans, and we made it our own. Let's not go with this reworked history here.
I just want John Phillips to be able to say his... You're such a good sport.
Well,
you're being pow.
Is there someone going to descend from the ceiling here? Look, this is clearly a subject she cares about. This is something that she's spoken about publicly. I think it's wrong to assume that she has malicious motives. Let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah, we'll give her a chance, right? And I have to end the conversation there on that beautiful note of unity.
It's all love.
It's all love, yeah.
Smart conversation.
Exactly. No, because John Phillips, thank you so much. I'll be right back.
Thank you.